Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
What's going on? And we are back with your Survivor News coverage of Survivor Season 43, Episode 4. I am back.
43.
I keep saying, I said 43?
If you add them up, though, it's...
Oh, if you add them up and do the Jelinski math, we are back with your Survivor News, Season 47, Episode 4. The baby boys were reunited, and we're back. We have the first merge boot of Winners at War, and somebody that just finished up rapping ABC's Extreme Home Makeover Home Edition. When DZ Holland was popping.
It's good to be back. Good to see my brothers. Yeah, Extreme Makeover Home Edition. It's a wrap. It's coming out first week of January. Let's go.
All right. The man, the myth, should have been on season 45, but he's an honorary member. He's kind of tall. And listen to this, Wendeezy. While we were in LA, I had the opportunity to go to Jack's house. Do you know Jack has an Olympic-sized pool behind that window in this podcast? I was shocked.
An Olympic-sized pool?
An Olympic-sized pool.
Bryce, what you don't know is I got that because of Extreme Home Makeover.
He put it in there.
Wendell came through it. It really saved me. So.
Jackery Atkins, the Circle Season 2, was popping, baby boy.
I mean, fresh off a great Bryson Went Presents in LA, had the best time, and really an episode that was chock full of great moments that I'm really excited to talk about. So I'm feeling great, Bryce.
Yeah, we're excited. The BWPTour 47 stop in LA was definitely one to remember. We did take a couple of seasons off from going to LA, but we came back and it felt like home. The star-studded that came out was ridiculous. If I was a rapper, I say it was a predicament, but not a predicament because I'm trying to put my thought.
Whoa. Jackery, he's getting out of control already.
I didn't even notice that for a second.
It was amazing. LA did not disappoint. Just shout out to all of the survivors. Shout out to my amazing race people. Shout out to the Big Brother, to the Challenge, to Anonymous, to the Circle.
They were out there.
The floor is lava. We had it was just, you name it, they were there. And it was definitely so much fun. The BWPTour 47 continues. Our next stop will be in Nashville, October 23rd. Following that, we'll be in New Orleans. After New Orleans, we are headed to Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., and the finale in New York City. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, don't have no FOMO, pull up. And also shout out to the Purple Pants Posse that was in the building in LA, to all of my amazing people. Somebody, my friend was like, I be writing in the comments, I know who you are. I was like, I see you. I comment back. But again, shout out to everybody. LA was truly so much fun. Wendeezy, what's your thoughts?
Man, we were, LA's a finicky market, and we didn't know what we were signing up for coming so early in the season. And man, oh man, LA showed out. From the fans, there was a good turnout. You know, it's not a finale, but it was a really good turnout. To the reality, they were in the building. And then we had radio DJ Charisma. That was our first time working with her, and she smoked it. She smoked it. Then we had, it was just the best vibes. Everyone was having a good time. Some of the producers from Extreme were in there.
My family was Survivor. Oh, the family was there. Sorry.
Survivor be in attendance at our parties if y'all didn't know. So yeah, okay. They be on the low, but if you didn't know, they be in our events. CBS be in our events. Those are our people. But Wendell's family was in the building too.
That is true.
Senior, Neats, and Lauren.
Yes. And my favorite cousin of Wendell's showed up. But real quick, Wendell, who was the first reality star to show up?
Oh, it was so great. It was so great to see my man, Jackery Atkins, pull up to the happy hour.
I was gonna say, I think it was me. I don't know if I count as a reality star, but I was there early because these events for me always, you guys have a lot going on coordinating them and everything, so I'm sure it's kind of a relief when they wrap up. But when I have to go home, I'm sad. I thought we were just getting started, and so sometimes like any night, sometimes the pregame is the most fun part, and so getting to just come kick it with you guys. As you guys know, once you're in the party, it is popping, lively. It's hard to like say hi to everyone you want to say hi to, and really like get to talk to people. The episode's going, so I say, let me come tap in with the baby boys for a cool, 5 hours early, and just hang out. Yeah, it was a great time.
It's a little awkward for me at the party because Austin showed up, and if you haven't been on TikTok, Austin is official with Amanda Probst, and she looking at me and I'm looking at her. She looking me up and down. I'm looking her up and down. Austin's getting nervous.
I think Austin might have had crazy intentions. Who knows? But I have a whole place back.
It's a lot going on. Amanda pushed me. I pushed her back. And in the end, I guess the TikTok will be coming out soon, but we're officially a trouble. So okay. Austin thought he could get away from me. But also real quick, I do want to talk about this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. As I was talking to Amanda, worlds, it's so full circle we come. Amanda showed me this photo while we were talking.
Cagayan.
Hey.
Wow.
That
Jatia's in there too.
Okay, so shout out to
was it like
a Cagayan reunion? Yes, the one that I didn't get to speak at. But
yo, shout out to Austin and Amanda, and I guess Bryce, I'm glad that you're in the truffle. First of all,
thank you.
But Amanda's family lives in Arizona, and they pulled up on us for Extreme Makeover with Hillary Probst and Amanda and Austin. So shout out to them. Amanda's really cool, and Bryce, I was gonna ask you if you would be down for a truffle with them, but it sounds like you're okay with sharing Austin.
Well, listen, I'm another sister wife. I was a sister wife to Chris Underwood and his wife, and now I am, because I told Austin, listen, once you go black, baby, listen, okay. So Austin couldn't be without me. So shout out to Mama Eva. I'm back in the family. But again, there were so many people. Dr. Maria, Tevin, Taylor, Hale from Big Brother, Azza.
Can we talk about Azza?
Okay. Now, everybody knows Azza is very a petite woman. Okay. Azza is skinny.
Azza's out.
Okay. For the last 2 weeks, Azza has been doing crunches, okay? And mind you, Azza want everybody to know. Now, I seen Azza on the Royal Crown with Derek and Tiffany covering Big Brother. Now, I got to call my sister Azza out because on Azza said over there, she said, everybody was coming up to me saying, Azza, look at that booty. I remember it the other way around. Azza was like, y'all see this booty? But okay, but listen, nevertheless, shout out to my sister, okay? Because she had a little boom, boom. I said, I see you, Azza.
Bryce, you get booty from doing crunches?
Squats.
Azza been doing her squats. I'm not going to comment on her body. But yes, Azza came in the building looking beautiful. And I don't know if people were noticing it or if Azza was pointing it out.
Sometimes it's a vicious cycle, Was she putting the Oz in Azza?
She definitely was doing something. We had some legends in the building. We had Queen Sandra. We had Sugar. That was my first time meeting Sugar. And, Gabon is my favorite Survivor season. So it was amazing. There were so many people. But listen, we're here for one thing. And that one thing is Survivor. And we got a lot to talk about because there's a lot to get through on this episode. Jackery, take us for a lap.
yeah, a lot to unpack, and watching at the event, you don't catch everything. So today I had to go back and give it a rewatch and double dip. I feel like I feel like we might have some disagreements this episode. I feel like we might have some real like questions to unpack. Maybe there's no right answers to some of these questions, but let's take it from the top. We get back to Lavo after they've just voted out Asia. And, Teeny tells us that she throws a vote on Soul purely because she just didn't want to put a vote on Asia. And, kind of her balance of playing the game, but also, having these emotions and dealing with that balance. To me, we see this sometimes where people don't want to write so-and-so's name down. But I feel like if you know that I'm going home, don't spare me I didn't write your name down. Because if you knew I was going home and you didn't stop it, that's the real problem. But I mean, what do you guys think about that? Because I don't know.
I agree. And also, Asia's not on the jury.
Yeah.
But I think this could also be, and mind you, I love Teeny. I think she's playing a great game, but I also think that Teeny might know the community that Asia comes from. And I think maybe wanting to stay on the good graces of because we love Asia, right? Yeah. And we stand Asia. Now, I'm not mad at Teeny making that decision because, listen, at the end of the day, I said it last week, I'll say it this week, get to the next day. So Teeny getting to the next day, I'm not mad. But I just also thought, like, I was surprised at how Soul was consoling her. He kind of really, like, Teeny really laid it on and was like, it was a hard decision for her. And in a situation where Soul could have been like, she could have been like, Mama Sue, you write my name down, I'm coming for you. However, I think throughout this whole episode, Soul has demonstrated to us his level-headed mindset, right? And I think that he could have been upset and been mad at Teeny, but I also think Soul is trying to play a longer game. And so what is it better to console the person that wrote your name down or rage lava war? So I tip my hat off to Soul for handling this really well.
Yeah, he's not been in a good position, and he's older and he's being calm under this pressure. And when other people might want to swing on people, Saul is like taking it easy and taking a breather and really exercising restraint. So,
and I mean, you take me right to the other big storyline on this Lava Beach for a lot of the episode is Rome is just kind of, I don't know if harassing is the right word, but he is on Soul like white on rice. I mean, Soul wants to go get water. Soul wants to just like go have some thoughts on the beach, and Rome is just like all over him. And look,
Soul is I gotta take a poop, Rome. Rome's like, I'm your toilet paper. What's up?
This is Survivor.
It's Survivor. I'm not going anywhere. What do you want? Man, mind you, it's the way that he gets up in Soul's face, though. And mind you, it's like, as a viewer, I am steaming. Like, Rome, first of all, if Rome did that to me, you know what I would do? Pew, pew. Okay. I will pluck his behind off. But at the same time, now, I don't know about the intensity level, Jack. I'm not mad. I feel like too much in Survivor. I also feel like he's playing like a Boston Rob game, right? Where it's like too much of Survivor, like we leave up to chance. Rome is like, I'm not leaving anything up to chance. Mind you, you can dial it back a little bit, Rome. Like, I get an offensive play, but you're in the Super Bowl right now. You're up 100-6. I think you could take the starting lineup out.
Yeah. Now, look, I mean, Rome's the type of guy in this situation who's a great ally. You know, he's going to go above and beyond to make sure you guys are good, and he's going to piss some people off and be a shield for you. But, I mean, definitely watching it and empathizing with Soul. Soul's a lot better guy than I think most people would be, because at the very least, I'm probably cussing Rome out. Like,
okay. If that were me, if that were me and I'm in Soul's position, knowing that I'm at the bottom, and that this probably could be my last day on this tribe, I am giving Rome a piece of my mother mind. It's going to be a lot of You don't get the, because I'm about to, because you a little, if y'all get these cameras out my, because I'm about to, like, it's giving a lot of that. And I think the best line of the day, Soul was like, in my real life, I don't let anybody talk to me, let alone somebody that size. I said, whoa. But in the midst of all of this, it seems like an unlikely alliance is born.
I don't know if I go so far to say that, but I will say Soul's composure here, wins him a lot of the sympathy of the tribe, and that could be a really crucial element to why he's able to navigate the rest of the episode how he does. So, I mean, hats off. I feel like Soul's quickly becoming a fan favorite, and he's definitely a standout for me.
He is my winner pick. Again, I did It's a Look, and Soul really stood out for me. I was really worried the first episode and the second episode. Soul I feel like I think, Wendell, you said this a long time ago. When you won Ghost Island, you were what, 34, 35?
33.
And of course, here's the James Jones reference. James Jones believes that between 32 and 45 is the perfect winner age.
I agree.
And how old is Soul? Like 41, 42?
Yeah, he's early 40s, I think.
Yeah.
Something, I'm not good at math, but you know whose math I am good at?
Whose?
Sue's math, okay? Because Sue and me, bitch, we do the same type of math, okay? Because Sue said, I'm 71, but I'm going to tell these people I'm 45. Baby, I ain't never understand somebody speaking language so clearly. Okay, Sue and I was in the same algebra class, okay? Because I do that math.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's just so mind-boggling to me. Not to I don't think it matters that much, right? She already told everyone she's a grandma. Like, if you're going to be looked at in that light, it doesn't really matter if you're 45 or,
it
58.
Does. Because here's the thing. I don't want to be a grandmom. I want to be a Gigi. I want to be a glam mom. I want to be a, abuela B. So I don't want to just be a grandmom.
I just think age is such you are what you are. Like, the vibe you give off and the maturity that you have, whether you're lying and you're 20 and you're rounding up, or you're 58 and you're rounding down. And that's but look, I mean, no disrespect to Sue, she does not look 45.
Jack,
and that's not that's not a hot
no.
That's not a hot. I know in life you're not supposed
to. You better get him
on a lady's
I did not like that.
Let me look at I know in life there's only
I hear a tsunami coming.
There's death, taxes, and never question a woman's age. But when they round down 13 years, then I think it's in play. I don't know, especially, maybe I'm a little biased, but my mom's 55. And
Jackery!
I would say she looks very good for 55. She's
Christine
very healthy.
Looks amazing.
Christine, and so if I was out there and Sue told me she was 10 years younger than my mom, I would be like, ain't no way.
Jack.
Ain't no way.
Jack.
I mean, we're all thinking it. So, and now the thing is, this is where maybe Sue looks great for 58. So I'd rather hear you're 58 and be like, damn, Sue, you're pretty athletic. You're looking sharp. But then you're
calling her a gilf?
No comment there, but it's I'd rather. I think if I was 58, I'd rather people be like, you look good for 58, than be like,
no,
you look a little old.
Jack, I am a lady of a certain age. Okay. And
but black don't crack, Bryce.
Jack, you ain't never lie there, Jack.
And Sue is not black.
I met Sue at the Brooklyn Beach Drop, at the Survivor Brooklyn Beach Drop, and I have to say, Tsunami looks good. Sue looks good.
Absolutely.
Now, on the island, maybe 45 is a little stretch, but when I met her in Brooklyn, I would have thought she was 42. So Tsunami looks good. But here's another thing that I also think, and what I was saying, there's the perfect winter age, right? Like 33 to 42. I also feel like in that window, girl, it don't matter, right? Like you don't even need to say your age.
Exactly.
But she looks good for.
What do you think? Her lying about it is really accomplishing.
I don't think that it really has anything to do with Survivor. Again, like I said, Jack, when you're a lady of a certain age, sometimes numbers scare you. My real age is 28. That's a hard number for me. So I do tell people I'm 24. It's only a 4-year difference. But sometimes when you're a lady, Jack, you get older, it's it's a little different. So I understand Sue.
Look, I don't. Hey, in outside of Survivor, if you're a lady of a certain age, and maybe you're looking, if you want to shave a couple years off, by all means. But if you're on Survivor, you're like, well, I am 58, and then it's like, who are you trying to fool here? No, I love Sue's playing a great game. I only say this because I feel like that's been a very public sentiment online, is that it's a little bit of a stretch, and it's a little bit wild, but. Other than that, I love what Sue's bringing to the table. Yeah. Here's I would never if she look. I just want to make it clear. I would never question a woman's actual age.
Well, you just
I said, Sue looks great for 58, but it's just when you're making up that you're 13 years younger, then I might step in and be like, well, let's slow down, because aging is beautiful.
Oh, look at how he's trying
to. Okay, Jack.
Beautiful. Actually, I wish Sue was older.
You want her to be a great grandma? Let me tell you what, Sue will beat your ass.
But I love Sue. All jokes aside, and this brings us to a very fun, one of the most fun moments of the season, is this Beware advantage with this red paint that Sue is involved in. And she grabs it, hands are covered, she gets caught red-handed, as they say, and she kind of covers it up. She covers it up as well as she's covering up the lie about her age. But sorry, I had to double down, but sorry.
It was her just waiting at the well. Hey,
with the hands,
right? They like, "Do you okay?" Yeah. You got blood on your face. I had cut myself with the machete. Oh no! Well, I bit your back on my tongue. It was the way that she was like, "I'm gonna just stay here," and Tiana was like, "All right." I don't know what you going on. I don't know what is happening,
but it's weird.
But I'm gonna let you go, sis. Because I thought Survivor covered us during this particular, but I'm confused. But shout out to Sue. Here was what pissed me off about this Beware advantage. So when it comes back in the game, y'all just make it easier?
It's getting a little bit. I think they love that red paint thing, though. So it's like they want it to be found,
So anybody playing Survivor out there that's going to be on the next couple of seasons, if this happens, catch it.
Oh, so it doesn't break?
Right, because I feel like if Sue would have chopped it and just gently released the rope up a little bit, it wouldn't have splattered so much.
Bryce, you're not that coordinated.
Let me ask you a question. If this happened to Andy, how good do you think my man Andy would have been at covering this up?
No comment.
Jack. I think you would have laid down in it and faked his death. Jeff, I need medical.
I need everything.
I gave it my all.
But talking about Andy, can we go to Lavu? Is it Lavu?
Gata.
Yeah. A lot happening at Gata. I'm not sure if it's Rata, but my man's over there is Bata, because I come back with the Rata. Okay, listen, a lot going on. I was getting Ghost Island vibes, flashbacks happening. Shout out to my man Sam. I like Sam a lot. I think he's coordinated. I think he can rap. Shout out to my Sam merch. What did you think about Sam rapping, Jack? Jack, you are a white boy that can rap yourself. So what you think?
Look, did Sam have some bars? Absolutely. But to me, when I, indulge in some freestyling, that's a sacred activity that I like to keep between me and my homies when we might be a little bit tipsy. I'm not one to say that if I'm sober and I just start rapping, it's not a good look.
Okay.
But if we're back in my place at the after party and it's just me and a couple of my close bros and we want to mess around, it's a great time. Would you catch me freestyling on national television? No. And that's kind of what I'll say. It's just a tough path to navigate.
For me, what was so funny was Sam got in a good 16 bars, and then he's like, "Well, it wasn't. It was all right. It was all right. He was getting it off." I think. Well, Wendell, you're well versed in, being with young, attractive, handsome rappers on the island. What would you say to Sam?
My only thoughts, Sam, love you, but stop rapping. You're trash at rapping. Put the mic down, bro. Put the pen down, bro. Love you, but you need to use an eraser.
Oh.
I had to. Sam, we love you, but I think there should be a no freestyling rule on the island going forward.
I agree.
Well, we're not on the island, but since y'all are being so hard on Sam, give me some bars, Sam, Wendell and Jack, about Gotta. Little Gotta. Gotta. Gotta.
Go ahead, Bryce. That was what you got?
I'm not a rapper. I'm a podcaster. I'm a third boot. I don't got to.
Oh,
I like it. I don't got no bars. I can't say that somebody has no bars and then
come on,
drop some trash bars. I can't do
it. I can't say everything.
Come on. Oh, y'all scared now.
Now we need Q out here.
Y'all scared. Come on, give me a bar, Jack.
I might have to write something down. I don't know. I can't go off. I can't give Sam shit for not rapping, and then
I'm just saying.
Start rapping. Yes.
Here's what we'll do. I'll drop a bar. I'll pass it to Jack. He passes it to Bryce. He passes it to me. He passes it to Bryce. Like that.
Okay.
It's your baby boys from Survivor News.
Oh, you're just doing one?
Yes.
Coming back through, trying to see and cruise.
Y'all keep it going. I can't stay flack and then pick up and lay down some.
Well, if you can't, okay. So here's the thing: if you can't rap, Jack, just say that.
Yeah, if I was 4 beers deep, I'd be looking like Eminem out here. But
oh my goodness,
we ain't talking 9 miles. I'm talking pick up your socks and get to the Gotta. It don't have to.
Go ahead.
It don't have to ram. It don't have to rhyme. Because I'm not on that time. I got the mic in my hand and I'm about to go grind.
Oh, you don't have to tell us about your extracurriculars. Ooh. I just need to know about your. I don't know what rounds with that. I'm good. Jack, what you got?
The extracurriculars was a tough.
That was a tough one, right?
That was a toughie. You could circle back to me later.
Jack.
Okay, I'll start off.
I just said I have my certain rules in place. I can't just when Q was on, maybe that was an exception.
Well, Jack,
I'm sorry.
Then you can't opine on Sam's rap skill. I'm the only person that can do that.
Oh,
Sam, love you.
But you opined on Sam's rap skills and then said extracurricular and couldn't rhyme it. So it was
No, Jack. I could
Listen,
rhyme
wait.
it.
He
I coulda
said
said
extracurricular. Don't
I
get
didn't
too
wanna have to get
particular.
particulars. Exactly. Thank
Okay, don't get too particular if
you
you're
were
not
going
trying
all
to.
perpendicular.
Exactly.
Oh.
But we
Oh,
speaking horizontal. I'm trying to figure out where is the right parental.
so we could just make up words out of air. I'm trying to mess up my hair.
Don't worry about your hair, because there's another hair. Not talking rabbit, but I am talking habit.
Ooh.
Habit of spitting on the it. Y'all
Whoa.
want to mess with the boy? 'Cause I'm
Okay, can we continue this episode?
okay. So anyway, let's talk about my main man, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy is gaining his steam. Now I think although Sam might not be the greatest at rapping, I definitely think Sam made a pivotal mistake this episode. When Sierra was talking, well, we know the Girls Alliance breadwinners. Love that. Love the girls working together. Andy is working on his relationship with Sierra. Sierra tells him the name of the alliance. Andy immediately tells this information to Sam. Sam does not take this information well and kind of goes to Sierra. I definitely think that this was a huge mistake for Sam. I think that Sam should have held this information in and seen how Sierra moves. I think it's important to be fluid in this game. And although he has built this relationship with Sierra, I think that if we are going off of blind trust, Andy has been more trustworthy than Sierra because Sierra and Sam have been locked in. Andy has been giving jewel after jewel and showing himself. So I really think that this is a situation where it's like Sam kind of effed up Andy a little bit because now it's like he threw Andy under the bus to kind of like get to his relationship with Sierra when really he could have just held this in, and knowledge is power in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It's like if I see where Sam's coming from, you know, you want to check in, and it's probably a little bit concerning when Sierra's telling Andy stuff, but not you. But at the same time, if you want to bring Andy in as your third and bring Sierra and Andy together as a three, then you know Sierra's telling him stuff. That's probably a good thing. And if you're then going back and showing that Andy is closer to you than he is to Sierra, and showing that to Sierra, then she's not going to feel as good about working with Andy for that exact reason. So kind of counterproductive to the group that Sam is trying to build.
I almost feel like Sam should have just asked more probing questions to Sierra. Like, let me see, like, you know, like y'all getting kind of close, like what's going on over there? Kind of like leading her, because I feel like that would have even been a better barometer for Sam to be like, all right, I'm leading you to the water, and now you're not even completely drinking the water at all. Now my red flags need to go up. But it seems like Sierra and Sam are able to somewhat recover. They are brother and sister, not boyfriend and girlfriend out there. So they're fighting like brothers and sisters, but it still seems like they want to work together.
Yeah, I just think that, like you said, Bryce, I just think that in this case, Sam, just don't be so reactive. Just hold it in, take a breath, and make some observations first.
Because obviously, like, I mean, it's easier watching, but I feel like Sam could pretty comfortably assume he's closer with Sierra than with Andy. But if he's trying to build this bridge, then it's like maybe Sierra was going to tell Andy some info that she's going to tell you a little bit later just to try to like win him over. And that's just like how people have to play the game. So you get, like you said, you don't want to be too reactive and make Sierra feel off put by anything by coming to her and laying down this info and being kind of a little bit confrontational. So yeah, totally agree. But I love what Sierra's doing. I think Sierra's in a great spot.
Right, she is. And I think ultimately this really just messes up Sam's game the most, because now it's like Sierra wants to get rid of Andy. And now Andy has proven himself loyal to Sam. And now if Sam puts up a fight about Andy, then that just causes so much more turmoil. And it's like, well, how close are you really to Andy? And in all of this, Andy just being Andy is somewhat in a great spot a little bit, right? Like, because he's just trying to get close to Sierra. And then he's like telling Sam, thinking that they're are a truffle, but now it's like you've kind of cracked the truffle a little bit. And being how just innocent Andy is, I feel like he could potentially sway Sierra's way or continue to work with Sam. So again, I think Andy has put himself in a great position. Not knowing, right? Like Andy has Andied yet again, and I love every
into a great position.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So those are kind of the main things going down on the tribes before we get into the immunity challenge. Should we dive into the immunity? Because there's a lot to go over during and after.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't feel like the challenge itself needs too much recapping, but a big standout for me was, Rome doesn't get a single piece, which is pretty crazy. I think part of me thought maybe he was throwing it at times, but it seemed like he, in his confessionals after, like, genuinely was trying to do it and, like, owned up that he failed it and it was embarrassing. But yeah, it was definitely a disaster for Rome and the Lavo tribe. Did anything else stick out to you guys from this challenge?
For me, it showed me that Rome is playing a very Rome-like game, but I feel like his downfall is going to be his need to want to be the center of attention. Or just plenty of times Saul was there saying, like, do you want me to, like, I can tag in. Rome was like, no. Another thing that I thought was interesting when Jeff was like asking about what happened, Rome didn't really seem to, Rome said it was embarrassing, but he was embarrassed that his family and friends were going to watch this at home. Not like, darn, my team just took an L, we're going to have to go to tribal again. It still was like, even though y'all lost, it still was about the Rome show. He's like, my mom's going to watch this and see I couldn't get a puzzle.
The Rome show ratings are going to take a hit after this. Another thing I thought was interesting was that this reward was chickens, three hens, and that sparked some debate back at the Gata camp about what to do with the chickens. And I wanted to ask you guys, having been out there with that food situation, what do you think the best way to handle 3 chickens is? Do you kill all of them? Do you kill none of them? Do you kill? Or that, I guess it's a little bit, but what do you do?
If you have 3 chickens, one, here's the thing. I missed the challenge. If I would have stayed in one more time, I would have been on the Solana tribe when they got the chickens. So I don't actually have hands-on experience with chickens, right? But the stories that I have heard, the chickens can be finicky. Sometimes they are so stressed out there on the island, they don't produce eggs at times. I would take the celebration and unfortunately have to slaughter a chicken, leaving 2 chickens to still bear eggs, and we can still celebrate with a little chicken.
On Winners at War, we won chickens, and
on the edge of extinction?
No, because I was in it I made it to the merge, Bryce.
Oh, okay.
So,
but you spent more time on the merge island, but I mean.
So, and I was just like, I'll do what the tribe wants, but I'd prefer not to kill the chickens, and I prefer to eat the eggs. And I want to say they lay eggs so sparsely. It's like 1 a day or something like that. So, and if that's the case, then would you rather get 3 eggs every day for your tribe, or would you rather have 3 whole chickens to eat?
I would have a whole chicken to eat. And you didn't want to kill the chicken because you didn't want to slaughter it, or you were just too scared to slaughter it?
I didn't want to slaughter it. Further, I didn't want to slaughter the chicken.
In LA, we were at third base for our LA party, right?
Yes.
Where were you, myself, your cousin Justin, and a shirtless Joey after the party wrapped up?
We were out in front of third base LA.
Yeah, well, I was ready to go home, but we couldn't go home because you and Joey had ordered Korean barbecue what?
Fried chicken.
So you don't want to slaughter a chicken.
Correct.
But at 2 a.m. LA time, which really is 5 a.m. Jack, you want to stand outside and have a chicken slaughtered Korean barbecue style, and you'd be like, this is the best chicken ever. Bryce, you take a piece now because you're not going to get a piece later. So you'll slaughter a chicken then, but you don't want to slaughter a chicken to feed a tribe.
I didn't slaughter a chicken in
You
LA.
absolutely slaughtered so
I annihilated the fried chicken.
okay. I guess.
I'm generally kind of with you guys. I think you eat one right away, probably. I also think maybe before, the day before, like the next immunity challenge, maybe you eat another and make sure everyone's like fueled up, ready to go. But of course, it's nice to have some eggs being like, because you don't need 3 chickens all at once, so you got to space it out. But also, if you swap or you merge, you guys might not get the benefits of those chickens as if, you had them right there. The thing I will say, I kind of agree with Wendell. I wouldn't want to be the guy to like snap the chicken's neck. Like I don't really know how to do that. If I mess up and it's like halfway,
now wait a minute, Jack.
It's a disaster.
Now wait a minute. You've never chirped. You've never.
He's about to say something really wild right now. He's about to say something really crazy.
I don't know what he's about to say.
No.
I've never
You lucky I
choked a
cracked.
chicken.
Y'all are so lucky I cracked myself up. Bro. You've never choked a chicken, Jack.
Only personal chicken.
Oh no. Enough is enough.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
Not enough experience.
Well,
Right, so you would be those chickens would be gone before they got back to camp. They'd be so choked.
I've choked a couple of chickens in my life, and you got.
Wait, your mic went out. You choked the chicken too hard.
Am I back on?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta grab that chicken.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to explain to the future survivors.
Okay, go
How
ahead.
do you do it, Bryce?
The 2-hand operation works really best, and sometimes the chicken might move a little bit, and you got to throw a little spit on it. And
That is insane. Why are you disrespecting the chicken?
Don't
Right,
tell me
the proper technique, if you're really from the country,
to choke a chicken.
you grab it by its neck and you ring it. You ring its
Oh,
neck off. That's like those country, like
Yeah.
you could chop a chicken's head off, yeah, but like those country mofos, they will just grab it and yeah.
how would I grab it?
I don't know, Bryce.
They give it the cluck cluck.
Y'all
No,
are-
but sorry for the innuendo, but I would not feel great being the one to kill the chicken. And so
Jack, I was just at your house. You have a freezer full.
I'll eat
pizza that
chicken.
has chicken on it.
I don't
So,
think
like,
this is a hot take that you can eat chicken without being the one to want to wring the chicken.
I mean, yeah, but if you have to survive, you have to survive.
Well, I would hope someone else would be wanting to do it. Now, I worry that maybe I would be not seen as, but a lot of times it's the more like the bigger guy who's like, all right, like you got to go kill the chicken. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Like,
I would do it. Now, let me just settle a debate for me, Wendell and Jack. What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
settle a debate for you.
I think the egg. I know this is like a little classic question, but I would say the egg.
Okay.
Because, well, like the chicken would be not to get deep into it because I know it's like a silly question. The chicken would be like a result of like other things breeding, like, and maybe slightly different thing from a chicken and slightly other different thing from a chicken. Maybe they get together and then the result is this modification that's a chicken, which would come from the egg, and then it would, so because the chicken doesn't just appear.
Nor does an egg.
He just explained how the egg would appear.
Catch me on Easter. You'll find a lot of eggs.
Okay, just was curious your thoughts.
What do you think?
Jesus.
Amen. They showed up at the same time.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is a conundrum, but I mean, I definitely think the egg would have to come first, but the egg has to come from something. So,
well, it's like say like a golden retriever and like a poodle, maybe they get together and they create a golden doodle. But the golden doodle was, kind of, it didn't come out of an egg, but it was in that sort of stage beforehand.
I see what you frying. I can agree to that. I'll go with that.
But I guess if I knew the answer, this wouldn't be a question. So who knows?
Can we get back to Survivor news, please? I apologize to the listeners for the last 5 minutes of this chicken and the egg ridiculousness.
It was quick. It was a quick exploration.
It was a quick
get that 5 minutes back.
Oh, sorry. Okay, and then the other big takeaway from the challenge is that there's going to be a journey, and Gata gets to pick who goes, and it's Andy, Teeny, and Caroline. And this journey, essentially, they are forced. Someone has to give up their vote, or they all lose their vote. And if someone does give up the vote, then they get a shared advantage. And Andy and Caroline sort of strong arm and say, we need our votes. So we're not giving up the votes. And Teeny's kind of like, well, it seems like it's going to be Soul or Rome, so I guess I can give up my vote. I guess everyone has a different perspective in this group here, but going into something like this, how do you guys feel like, what's the right approach?
Yeah. One, I just feel like on these journeys, they're sharing too much information. Like, I'm like, where's the strategy, right? But I also feel like I was a little disappointed at Teeny because I feel like they put it on her, but I would have wanted Teeny to be a little more Rome-like in this situation and be like, I'm going to tribal. Like, I'm out of the option. Like, I was a little annoyed at like how they put it on Teeny because it's like, wait a minute, y'all not going to tribal. It has to be one of y'all. But I also feel like it is in this Survivor era, right? You saw how Andy spoke up first. I feel like if Teeny would have jumped in immediately after Andy, it would have left Caroline, and like the pressure would have then been on Caroline. I really feel like the only pressure that it was on Teeny is because she was the last person to go. And so I really feel like in this challenge or in this type of scenario, according to Jack, you got to be the egg and come first and like put out your reason. Don't just wait for the chicken to come.
Yeah.
It might have helped for her to kind of jump in there.
Right.
But also, yeah, I think in this case, you literally are the one going to tribal tonight. Stand your ground.
Right.
Although go ahead.
No, I was going to talk a little bit more about the amulet. So no, finish your point, Jack.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I see where Teeny's coming from because it seems like Andy and Caroline have like semi-valid reasons they don't really want to budge. And of course, if everyone loses their vote, that's not really ideal either. So you want to be like the bigger person and maybe be like, oh, well, if I could take a little hit here, maybe that'll help my relationship with these other people. And from Teeny's perspective, they're in a pretty good spot with this impending tribal. But at the same time, you don't want to be too quick to give up the vote. So I definitely wish we saw Teeny do a little bit more, at least try like a little bit more pushing back, I think. And you're right, jumping in quicker is a little bit easier because once Andy and Carolyn state their case, then it's sort of like, well, Teeny, you said you felt decent. So
right.
And it's hard to be like, well,
Here, another thing is it looks like if Teeny would have held out for 2 more seconds, it looked like Carolyn was about to say, I'll do it.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And it's, what do you think about these new ambulance, right? Like ambulance. I believe in the old ambulance, it was more ambulance.
I like the
ambulance.
The amulet.
Amulet.
I believe in the old amulet. It was more. It was more the way it read. It was more an incentive to kind of like cannibalize. And these ambulance,
Mhm.
it's like, once we come together, we are good. If one of them goes away, two are still good. If only one is left, then it's just an idol. But we are the ambulance.
Yeah,
I feel like the old ambulance was dun, 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 dun. I'm out for myself. It's 3 of us. 2 y'all gotta go. I need the full ambulance. It's just me and my homies. I'm taking them out. Bump, 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 bump. Like, that's how I felt like the old ambulance song went.
I agree. I think the old amulets were more because they, the power built too when you took the others out. But I still do feel like these ones, it's a tough world to see where 3 people from 3 different tribes can come together and all cohesively agree to, right? So it still sort of is a target to be like, maybe it's a little bit easier when there's 2, and maybe Andy and Teeny become allies, and then they can play it together. But it's still, I think everyone in the back of their head is always going to be like, I need to be selfish here. Like, let me. It takes a very specific set of circumstances for it to work in a good way and not be a target.
Yes, especially when you have all 3 of these people going back and saying everything to everyone. So now everyone knows what 3 people have this bond, and that can put a target on these. That can put a target on them.
And there's 2 things. Yeah, go ahead, Bryce.
I was just gonna say, like, because I love my man Andy, and I feel like here was another master class of Andy Andying. Andy immediately went out there, was like, I'm at the bottom. I don't really have much like sway in the group. And again, it worked to his benefit. He got to come back to the tribe, tell the tribe everything that happened. And I don't know, I just felt like Andy, you can tell that Andy is a player in the game, right? He may not execute everything well. It might be a little awkward, but hearing his rationale, hearing him like describe, like, yeah, I'm going to tell them I'm on the outs, I'm on the bottom, like really kind of making a case for him not to be the one to lose his vote. I don't know. I just feel like Andy's just putting himself in a really good position.
I feel like he took that tough first episode, embraced his position, and is now playing a smart game from sort of this perceived bottom, which is good for Andy. I'm excited to see the 2 questions I kind of have about the amulet, and I don't really know. Like, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Is A, if you're on this journey and there's this promise of this like group reward, is there ever a time to just be like, you know what, I will lose my vote because I think this group amulet, you don't know it's an amulet, but like you can kind of maybe pick up from previous seasons, something like this is like, could that be more detrimental to my game than just like all of us losing our vote? Now it's hard to imagine that would ever really happen. My other thing is there some weird advantage actually to everybody knowing about these amulets? Because if I'm any other player in the game, I'm like, are all 3 of them really going to use it together? Probably not. So maybe I actually don't want to vote any of these people out because then inevitably they will become an idol, right? So if I'm like a Sam, maybe I'm like, let me just not target these people because if these people go home, then there is another idol, like without a doubt. And so maybe, I don't really know, like there's a weird thing there because it's like maybe you vote people out earlier with them to get rid of the idol quicker or whatever. But it's like, but if you leave people too long, that someone's gonna have an idol at like final 5. There's like a weird dynamic that it adds that I think is really interesting. And I don't know, how do you guys think it could affect the game in ways that maybe we don't really predict? Is sort of where I'm at.
Well, my definitely prediction is I could see Carolyn and Andy wanting to be kumbaya and work together. I definitely could see Teeny being the one to maybe want to pull the trigger and take out a Carolyn or Andy is like my perception of it. But that wasn't really your question, but that's how I could see it playing out.
I just think it's going to be something looming in everyone's thoughts.
I think we lost your audio for a second. Wendell.
Your mic went out because you can't rap.
You said it's gonna be in everyone's thoughts, and what?
Your mic is still out. You just think what?
I just think it's going to be something looming in everyone's thoughts, and now it's going to make them like over scrutinize these 3 people once or 2 people, however many people make it to the merge. I think people will always be watching them and just, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a deterrent for people not to vote for them.
I feel like this could be the ammunition that Sierra could use for the breadwinners to take a shot at Andy if they go to tribal. Because the amulet very clearly read, it's not like someone can vote someone out and you can take the amulet. Like the writing said, you 3. So I will assume that the amulet is something that is bestowed upon you, that it has to be these 3. So I could see it making all of them more of a target pre-merge.
True. That's why I'm like so interested, because if I'm Sierra and I'm like, well, if I vote out Andy, now there's going to be 2 people from that I don't know who now have an idol between them. So it's like, but no, but I agree with you, because it's like I don't really know how it's going to. But I guess ultimately I sort of agree with Wendell in that, whether it's, you know, maybe a deterrent or maybe it's a target, I think it's going to have these 3 players on other people's minds more. And I would say that's a bad thing, right? So
right, but I wasn't comprehending what you said though. That actually is a great point though, Jack. Right, like maybe we keep our people with the ambulance, because if we take one of them out, then it's 2 people that we don't know that can control the idol,
and it's easier to play. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So actually, that's actually a solid case to want to keep them in, because at least, you know, I'll stay close with Andy, or someone will want to stay close with Caroline, or someone will want to stay close with Teeny to be in the know of how that ambulance.
Definitely. But and then at the same time, it's like, well, if you continue to keep them in, and all 3 of them are in at like the final 6 or whatever, and then someone ends up with the full idol at like final 5, whatever, that's maybe more of a threat than if they have it early. I don't know. It's like a weird.
Oh, if the 3 of them make it to final 6, this is still a case where all 3 have to be brought together and used as one.
Right.
So if the 3 make it that far, I could almost see them not being on the same page. And
for sure, but then I meant that to say is like maybe they vote out Andy, and then at the final 5 now Caroline and Teeny have an idol, and if they're working together, then you know, someone having an idol at 5 is a little bit more scarier than someone having it at like 12, because there's just like fewer other options to do. But yeah, I guess maybe there's not a good answer, and basically that's all to say. Like, I'm interested to see how it affects the game. Like, it's a fun twist,
right? But
other than that, we have, you know, a looming tribal for the Lavo tribe, and I think it might be fair to say that this could be the most interesting dynamic pre-tribal that we've seen all season. Teeny's still gone at the journey, and Rome and Soul still going at it. Rome, I guess it starts off with Rome sort of issuing like an ultimatum to Soul.
It wasn't a threat.
It wasn't a threat. It was an ultimatum, basically saying, if you give me your shot in the dark, I'll steal Genevieve's vote, and then we can vote her out. But if you don't, then I'm going to steal your vote and vote you out, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So my logic with Rome is that, like, Saul knows you and Genevieve are close. So, like, in what world does that make sense? So when Saul is like, absolutely not, like, it's just, yeah, that's where I'm just like, Rome, what are you doing here? Like, you could have come a little better. And then it's like when Rome gets his eyes going and he's like, either or, like, it's just like, Rome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was mad, because in Saul's shoes, it's like, well, if you actually want to work with me, then you have a steal vote. We could just vote whoever out. Like, why do you need? Why do you want my shot in the dark so bad?
Right.
Because you want to vote me out. Did we think this was a threat or an ultimatum, or both?
I think it was what do they call it when, like, I think it was a
strong arm.
A strong arm. What do they call it? Like when you're a boss and you can't like go out with somebody that you work with because that you're
Oh,
below. Say it again.
The conflict of interest?
Not a conflict of interest, like a power
policy. Oh, like a
power dynamic.
Right. It was like I don't even know if it was a threat. It was just definitely Rome welding, throwing his power around, like, and it just really strong arming him, like Wendell said, like what are we doing?
And that does remind me earlier in the episode when Rome was like, see, you shouldn't be looking for an idol. If you keep doing it, we're gonna vote you out. He's like, when you're at the top like me, you can look whenever you want, but you are at the bottom, and you can. That was really I don't know how Soul is so patient, because that kind of line is like,
but
what are you talking about?
Let me ask you this though. Culturally in Survivor, was Rome telling a lie though?
He wasn't lying, but some things what's understood doesn't.
But also, well, yes, but also if you are at the bottom, then you might as well look. And honestly, looking, just the act of looking could make people worry that you have it. So if Soul was just chilling, it's like, it's in a way it makes them easier to vote out.
But I'm just trying to figure out, was Rome at the top of the top of the tribe or at the bottom of the tribe when his feet was dangling in the well? Because it's kind of sounding like a hypocrite. That was the craziest thing ever, though. Like, that was like, oh my God, like, Rome, what are you doing? Crazy. But also, was my jaw dropped and was I locked into the TV at Rome saying this to Saul? Like, that was crazy.
Yeah, and Rome correcting him, like, not a threat, it's an ultimatum, and Soul was like, oh yeah, my bad, bro. I thought that was so funny. I mean, I think it's both. Like, I see why in Rome's mind he thinks it's an ultimatum, but if I say, like, if I tell like a significant other, oh, you need to just let me go through your phone or I'm breaking up with you, that is an ultimatum, but that's also a threat. So
is if you're a convenience store owner and I come in with a gun and I say, give me all your money, or I'm going to pew pew you, is that an ultimatum or a threat?
Rome would be like, well, if you just do what he says,
like, I'm at the top with this gun. I can do what I want.
That's the steal of votes. Rome's like, I can use this at I can use this at the store. I can. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but you know, that's sort of the initial dynamic. But we see quickly that other dynamics are at play, where Kishan thinks that, okay, Rome has to steal a vote, but even if Teeny doesn't have a vote, we could all use ours and vote for Rome. And if there's a revote, then Rome doesn't get that stolen vote, and we send home Rome. Which I think on paper, great plan, but I think sort of the simple moment where, to me, everything kind of unraveled is Kishan then giving a confessional. Is like, I know Rome and Genevieve are really close, so I want to pull in Genevieve to vote out Rome because it'll be good for my game. It's like, well, you just said that Genevieve is close with Rome. Why would she do that? You know what I mean? And it's also him not knowing the result of Teeny's journey, I think, is also really important, because sure, he rightfully assumes she might lose her vote, but at the same time, maybe they come back with an advantage of their own or whatever that could completely alter how you have to like lay this plan down. But to me, I mean, I thought Kishan really did play a solid game for going home where he did, but this plan hinging on Genevieve turning on her number one in order to benefit you is just sort of, you could kind of see why that probably wouldn't work. And I don't know and then, you know, we end up seeing Genevieve diagnoses this, goes behind the scenes, really some shades of like Kim Spradlin to me, where Genevieve is able to get Soul and Rome to make amends, able to get them to basically execute her plan. And she has a lot of good social game and communication here, sort of unlike Rome has had, where she kind of lays this plan out and guides everybody to it without like laying down like strong arms. But I guess out of like Kishan and Genevieve here, like what really stuck out to you guys as being particularly good or bad?
I mean, for me, I love Dr. Patel, and I think that Genevieve hearing from Rome that she was the decoy, my first thing comes to mind, Kishan, why would you not why would you allow her to hear that from Rome? Like that should have been something that you brought to her. Then my second question is to Genevieve. Well, you were the decoy in Rome's own plan to Saul, and you didn't have a problem with that. So it just leads me to believe that I don't know if Genevieve was ever really with Kishan. We've seen nothing of the sorts thus far, but I thought it was a really great plan for Kishan. I thought it was a great, but I'm like, oh, what's happening here?
I thought, yeah, I admire Kishan for trying to make that move and shoot that shot, but I respect Genevieve's play. It's like, whoa.
Definitely.
She had to activate, and she activated.
Came out of nowhere, for sure.
Right. And for her, it's like a rocket shooting out of the ocean. We're 4 episodes in, and she's just been what we've seen of her, or how many confessionals have we had of her, have really just been tied to Rome, nothing of her own sort. And so for her to come out like this shooting rocket, like it's 4th of July and popping into the air, it's like, right, I do see a Kim Spradlin or something. Like, I got my eye on her now. That was a great move. Do you feel like Kishan's move against Rome, given the power that Rome has and the tribe is so small, do you think it was premature? Do you think he should have just kind of gone with the Rome alliance and got rid of Saul?
A little bit, because you know about this steal a vote, and it's like, this is why I think Genevieve's move was very well timed, but also, I mean, the communication was great, but the move itself kind of simple, where if you and your number one Rome, that's literally all you need. Like, Teeny could have their vote, but Rome steals a vote. You have 3 votes in a tribe of 5, and why not get out of someone who's probably better for your game, like Kishan? Because if you get out Soul, then it's kind of like a 2-2 split, and that might be trouble for you. So I think Genevieve, if Rome was going to use the steal vote, it makes sense to maximize it by taking out someone who's a little bit bigger of a target. And Kishan, I think, should have been able to acknowledge that and been able to go with the flow and just taken out Soul and hope that, they get to their 4 and it's a 2-2 split, and maybe there's a swap or a merge or whatever, and they could stick together. It just felt like everything had to go right here for Kishan to make this move, when there was a lot of variables that he couldn't even control. So I think it's just smart. And he hadn't even consulted Teeny really about this plan yet. Didn't know the result of Teeny's journey. It just felt like he was, I feel like, feeling comfortable, and he was playing very well, and was like, all right, let me try to control the move of every single person and make this great plan to do something that I don't think would have altered his game too. It just felt like, definitely, like you said, Bryce, too early and just a little bit too ambitious.
Where can Rome sustain this? Can Rome sustain in this game much longer?
I think Rome he's doing so much so early from the jump. If you're not like Tony Vlachos or somebody, like I can't see Rome. I can't see him in the game that much longer.
Did you see Q in the game much longer at this point in his season? Because he might not have been making the same type of power moves, but Q was absolutely causing a ruckus. If
Q
not,
early on, though, was actually in a pretty good spot and like was playing a decent game, I felt like.
But he had Q outbursts.
For sure, but his tribe, he had a charisma that his tribe still was drawn to that Rome, unfortunately, does not really seem to possess. Now, I admire Rome's relationship with Genevieve. Seems to be pretty good. Doesn't seem too bad with Teeny or anything. But now I think Rome could theoretically go far. But at the end of the day, it's like, I just don't think anyone's really going to respect Rome's game. Because if he talks to a jury the way that we've seen him talking to, so if he's at the final 3, he's like, well, I'm on the top, so I'm allowed to do this, and you guys are at the bottom. No one's going to vote for him. So
y'all going to give me y'all vote, or I'm going to just walk off.
Or I'm going to take the $1 million.
The last thing I kind of wanted to bring up in this plan, because like I said, I think Genevieve concocted a really excellent plan, but I feel like if Rome and Soul are on workable terms, should Rome / Genevieve have pitched, hey Soul, we're going to steal your vote just so that Kishan doesn't suspect anything, right? Because Rome's played his idol. We've seen over on Tuku, there's an idol re-hidden. Kishan could theoretically have an idol here, and if you steal his vote, he's very suddenly, alarms are going to go off, probably going to play his idol. You steal Soul's vote, you still have all the votes you need, and it's going to be 3-1. And I think you can kind of pull the wool over Kishan's eyes a little bit, just in case. And to me, of course, Genevieve is trying to like mend this relationship with Soul. It seems like Rome is a little bit too. But if you go to Soul and you're like, here's the plan, we're going to steal it for this reason, right? If you were stealing it to get Soul out, there's literally nothing he could do. So it's like I wouldn't lie to him about that. I would be like, Soul, I'm not lying to you here because I would have no reason to, right? You wouldn't be able to play your shot in the dark. You would be going home if I steal your vote. But we're gonna put it on Kishan, but we're gonna steal your vote just to throw him off. I feel like that could have been the last step for this to be like kind of a airtight plan, because there is a world where Kishan found the idol, you steal his vote, he's gonna play his idol. So that's just sort of what do you guys think about that? Or is it too much? Does it just make sense like steal Kishan's vote him out?
Yeah, I think it's a bit too much, especially just given the relationship of Rome and Kishan. And now you want to, I think, yeah, just getting them to even vote together, I think is a miracle. So yeah, I think that might have been choking the chicken just a little too much.
I think that's like, if you have the time to sit and think about all that, that's like us as viewers. But I feel like on the island, you're not, I don't know. I feel like on the island, I wouldn't have thought to do that. She's like, all right, Kishan's trying to make moves. We're going to get rid of that. But again, like you said, if he had an idol and he saw you stealing his vote, then he's playing it.
Or if Teeny had found an idol, at the journey or something. It's like, I think it would have been that now. And like Bryce, you said they're trying to mend this relationship with Soul, but it's sort of one of those things where nobody can really do anything about it other than play an idol. So I think you could kind of lay this out to Soul, make sure the plan's aired. I actually think if I'm Soul, that would make me feel better if you give me this like elaborate plan. You wouldn't be making all that up if you're just going to steal my ability to play my shot in the dark and vote me out. Like I literally couldn't do anything.
But my question to you is, what will we need to tell Soul that for? We could just talk to him at the end. We're just going to steal his vote.
I guess. But at this point, they'd already roped him into this plan. So I don't mind, because I think in Genevieve's mind, now that Kishan is gone, they can pull in Teeny or they can pull in Soul to keep that majority. You wouldn't want to push Soul too far away, because maybe Soul then defers to Teeny and then it's 2-2. So I think it, like, and at least in Genevieve's mind, she wants to work with Soul. So bring him in on this plan, and I just think it kind of adds another layer of protection. It might be a couple too many moving pieces, but again, that's why I like this plan from Genevieve, because all you really need to know is that you and Rome are going to vote together and steal someone's vote, and you're going to have the votes. So
right,
it allows you to do a little bit of extra stuff with anything beyond that.
Yeah, I definitely be interesting to see how this dynamic works, because there's not a lot of things certain in life, but what is certain that I know is Rome is going to Rome. And I don't know that ain't going to work well with Soul in the long run, because it is definitely a Rome-tatorship, and it is Rome's way or
home. Rome or home.
Rome or home.
And that's not a threat.
Okay.
I'm worried. I'm not worried. I'm curious to see if and when Rome links up with people from other tribes, like how they're even going to react to him. Because
now that is what I want to see.
I would pay good money. I'd pay good money to see him make it past the merge, but I don't got it, bro. I think that they're gonna go for this man.
I think he'll make the merge, unless there's a swap.
Right. And I also feel like, you could say a lot about Rome, but he has really been for the core four. Although the core four he's at the top, but he really has been working for the core four. And again, someone like a Genevieve is in a great position because it's like, I would want to keep you around because I trust you. And I feel like in the long run, somebody going to do my dirty work for me because Rome is going to Rome. And so, yeah, but again, he has been loyal to the core four. And I do want to give him that credit though.
He's had stuff in his pockets all this time. Of course, they're going to rock with him so much. I think, and also just watching this edit, I just think Survivor's setting him up for a down.
Well, for sure. But who knows when that'll happen.
That's true.
Or this could be one epic ride.
Yeah, it could. Q was one epic one until his downfall.
So, I don't know. But one thing's for certain, we would definitely have to tune in next week to see what happens on episode 5. This has been great. So excited to be reunited with my Survivor News brothers. The BWP Tour 47 continues. Tickets are available at the link in the Bryson Wynn Present Instagram or Twitter bio. But as for now, the chickens are alive, and we will see you next week. This has been your Survivor News.
It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.